to do is I'm going to go ahead and get into facts and opinions, and we're going to be talking about the Supreme Court upholding Ohio's voting rules. So basically, Ohio, if you haven't voted, is it 2 years?
Yeah.
Is it 2 years? If you haven't voted within 2 years, they basically want to take your voting rights, basically. Yeah. So, like, you can't pick and choose when you want to vote. If you're going to vote, you have to be consistent with it.
Right.
Now, I did write something down where the Republicans stated that this helps the integrity of the process, demanding, ensuring that only the eligible vote, whereas with Democrats are stating that the voter fraud is practically non-existent.
Yeah, they don't have it. I don't know why they keep pushing that. I don't get that. I don't know what that is. I don't get why they do that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Me personally, I think it's more so for the minorities. Which is why I think they're trying to push it. And the reason why I say that is because if you notice with the Barack Obama campaigns, like, we were unified. We actually came, we voted. As soon as it was Trump and Hillary, it was kind of like, at first everybody was like, yeah, we're going to vote for Hillary. And then when we started seeing, like, the craziness that she was doing, it was like, no.
Yeah, they were like, oh, we're going to vote for the one of the lesser evils.
Well,
Everybody was saying
I think one thing is that I don't really see nothing wrong with it. I just think that there needs to be some exceptions. So maybe
like
there's
the military.
Military exception. Maybe there's a travel exception. Maybe there's some, who knows? Maybe it's based on family and raising a child or something like that. So those kind of exceptions, and I think that's probably should be. And it's just me. I'm not a government guy, but maybe some kind of written request that says, "Hey, this is what's going to happen," or "This is what."
This is what they're saying. The Supreme Court gave Ohio the right to remove voters from the voter rolls. At least 12 other states are saying that they want to do the same thing, and all the states that said they want to do it are conservative states.
I bet it's Florida.
All the states have procedures to remove voters, but what Ohio wants to do is, if you haven't voted in 2 years, then you can't vote for the next 4 years.
I mean, I understand it. It's definitely it's something that slides a lot more Democratic than Republican.
Absolutely,
because because the Democrats are tight because a lot of the people that voted for Trump had not voted in a long time. Mm-hmm. Okay, they just didn't vote because there was nobody there for them to vote for. There was nobody there that tickled their fancy. The Mormon boy didn't do it. Yeah. Barack didn't do it. Nobody did it. So they probably the last time they voted was probably Junior.
I like how you call him the Mormon boy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was only when a non-politician got into office that they said, okay, we see this, and this. Let's do. You understand? Let's give this a shot. Let's whatever. Because
they related to him.
Honestly, those kind of Americans really, and I'm with them, but I'm just black, and on the other side, we want the Clintons to just go away, like die in a plane crash or something. That's the most wicked family, and they worse than the Kennedys. They destroyed Haiti's economy. Okay, the Hillary was behind kids divorcing their parents. Like, if you look at the history of the Clintons, it's horrible, and this is a political history. You could talk about anything horrible about Donald Trump you want to. It's not political.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
I didn't get that. During the whole Trump campaign, this was like during the beginning of it. I would say to myself, okay, I get that you don't like him.
Right.
Why? You know what I mean?
The whole thing was Hillary and every ever of that type of liberal. I don't want to say every liberal because some of my friends are. I'm not. But Hillary and all of them just want to mix everybody in a pot.
Right.
And so now it's you and Bruce Jenner together.
Right, because you're minority.
You understand? And that's civil rights.
Right.
Yeah. Your rights and his rights is the same. Right. No! My people came here on boats. I am not you. No disrespect to your sexual orientation, but take that over there. And you gotta understand, this is me. I'm Brownsville, so I'm looking at you like, yo, what is you talking about?
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm born in New York, but at 57, my great-grandparents were slaves here in Oglethorpe. My grandparents were free slaves here in Oglethorpe. My mother grew up under segregation and then had her first child here, which is my sister. She's 84. She still lives here.
Wow.
Well, she went and came back. And then had other three of us up north. You understand?
Wow.
So that's my family history. Okay.
But that's
you
most
can't.
of our
You
family.
can't.
Let's talk about history real quick. Let's talk
yeah.
about voting, like from a time when your sister,
right,
and even when your parents and aunts and uncles voted to now. Why do you think now young people
don't vote?
Don't want to vote?
Because of them stupid YouTube prophets. Because of them Sarnetta politing them. That's why they ain't voting.
Yeah.
For them idiots running around with their wayward philosophies.
Yeah.
You understand? Look, this is me. I am a Christian, but I respect the monotheistic religions. Meaning a Muslim, we can have a conversation all day. A Jew, we can have a conversation all day. And there might be some Hindus and stuff that slide through. I'm a little weirded out with a god with a bunch of arms and all that look like a girl. I you know what I'm saying? But we can have that conversation.
Right.
But when you start talking about Kemet, you have no idea what that is. Okay? And it's probably power you can't handle.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say? More has gone wrong with them trying to touch that stuff than when they didn't touch that stuff. Frederick Douglass was successful in his mission. Believe it or not, so was Nat Turner. You can say whatever you want about Mr. Turner. Brother, he was successful. You want to talk about ain't no such things as halfway crooks, scared to death. You scared. You could do a Nat Turner video and just have that playing.
Which is probably why they banned the movie from theaters.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely,
like, come on. And he was very clear that he took his clue from Haiti, from Toussaint and Dessalines. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And now I get, after being old, I get Malcolm's concept of Pan-Africanism.
Right.
Now I get it. Like, I see it now. And especially now I have African friends and stuff. My wife is Haitian, so I started getting it then. But then, you know what I'm saying, I started doing that. So what I'm saying is that they touching into that stuff. These young people are watching them because, honestly, they got parents that kind of lost their way.
So I think, and I talk about this a lot, and I really want to just say, we always talk about voting, and we talk about hip hop and its influence and on politics and on culture. Period. I mean, you are one of the people that just was very influential for me. And I always say that you and Chuck D are where I learned mostly everything. I mean, to be honest with you, I was probably in one of the best schools in my neighborhood, and I didn't know all those countries in Africa until your song came out.
Right.
And so when I was like, that was how I kept it in my head. Like, I would have to say AFRICA.
Right.
Like I would have to say that song. Like when I was filling out the countries on the map, Tanzania, Zambia, Mozambique, and Botswana. Let us, like, I would have to. That helped me out a lot. So I think that at a time when there's all this political controversy and when there's all this lack of knowledge and more entertainment, I need to find out what happened, because like you said, you're the first generation East Coast. And if you break up this country like it was broken up originally, that means that you are from another country than your parents. Because my parents are from here too. I have the same story. My grandparents, my great-grandmother was a slave. My grandmother and my dad were sharecroppers. They lived in the same house that close
to where my family was.
Right. In Wilkes County, and you were in Oglethorpe. Next county over. You're 2 counties over from your family. So there was a great migration of black people that fled north because of all the laws and all the things that went on. Now that we see that migration coming back south, do you think that that's going to have a difference politically on what's going on? Like, are we going to turn some of the red states blue, the blue states red? You know what I mean? Because now we're here voting. I think as far as we allow ourselves to do it. But I think, I'm going right back to your original question. And I think that you hit a touch point, because they're not voting. They're running around. They're running around saying, "Oh, they both the same." It don't make no difference if I vote anyway. You understand what I'm saying? Whack.
There's no almighty white man doing nothing.
No,
there's an almighty marketer
but I feel
doing
like that
everything.
goes back to the household, because like now I feel like you have like the YouTubes and the Netflix and the music that's influencing the kids, and it's not in the households anymore.
Parents got to get You know what? I was in church about a month ago, and the youth pastor got up and said that he was talking to a few of the parents, and he said, some of the parents are telling me how they're having a little trouble with their kids, and he said, and they know what the problem is.
The internet.
He said the cell phone, right? And he says, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen if you take away their phone? Oh, they're not gonna talk to you. Like, we have, and this is a whole nother question, but we went into the situation where they want to be these kids' friends. You know what I mean?
Man, I didn't get my first cell phone until I was 16.
But do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
They want to be their friends. They want to be. So that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? And we got to be careful as black folks. I don't know about other people, but I'm a black Christian dude, so I go all the way back to Ham. Because Ham, most people don't realize racism is theological.
Yes, it
and it's not biased.
Yes,
It's some white guy somewhere mistranslated the curse of Ham, and then all of those guys that were slavers, they were Christian. They just practiced the Bible wrong.
Listen to KRS-One. Why is that?
Yeah, they just practiced the Bible wrong, and so now, but you got to realize who the blacks were and what Ham was, and Ham. Let's just say there was 3 races in one household. Probably not true.
What's understood don't have to be explained.
Okay, but look, 3 races. You got Ham, Japheth, and the other one.
Shem, was it?
Shem, right? Yeah. And 2 of them don't expose their father, but Ham does. Black people got big mouths, and that's just probably in the blood. So we got to realize that our parents, you younger than me, and it seemed like your parents knew it.
Right.
I know your parents knew it.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying?
My grandfather was
but now the new parent don't understand that. The new parent don't understand, look, I'm not giving him a phone until he's 16. And I don't care if he scream, yell, kick, and bite while he's 12 and 13. That's on him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Old parents was like, you could be upset all you want.
Yeah.
I'm not getting upset. And it's hard because sometimes now they laughing at you. And you steaming and they laughing.
But it's more kids having kids now too.
That's
another thing.
We did that too, but I think more to what you're saying is even as a kid, if you had a kid, if you had that instilled in you at an early age, you already knew. I mean, my grandmother had my aunt, my uncle, and my dad when she was a teenager.
Kids were having kids back then too.
Yeah, they were.
But were they having them more then or now?
I mean, it's the same probably.
You think it's about the same?
I just think now parents then they struggle to make a living for the child.
Right.
For us as a family. Unlike parents today, they lack, and when they lack, they feel guilty, and in their guilt, they give in.
Right.
That's a good point.
I think that's true. I think that's true because everything now is based on money. Yeah. And if you can't afford to buy your kids everything that they want, you feel guilty. Yeah. I fell into that early on, but I fell out real quick. Because when it was time for my daughter to old enough to get a job, that's the only time she was going to get a phone is if she was able to pay a bill, because what I did not want was another bill. So I said, sure, you can get a cell phone as soon as you get a job. So when she was about 12 or 13, because I had my daughter when I was young, but when she got to high school, I said, okay, if you can't get a job, walk a dog. Go to the neighbor's house or put a little note at the mailroom and say, hey, I walk dogs, I babysit, I take out trash. But if you get $20 a month, you can get a cell phone. That's all you need. You don't have to pay any other bills. So I started from there. And so from that, she learned to value money. And this is what these parents do not do. It's like they're entitled. I never understand the concept of giving... Right. I don't understand the concept of giving a 2 or 3-year-old a $500 device. Why does your kid have an iPad? I don't know.
They worship the kids now. The kids have become idols to them.
Yeah. And it starts with that, oh, he's so cute. But now, oh, he's so cute. It's like, it's going farther
now he's
than
running the house.
He used to be so cute from 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. Now that he's so cute, he's 14. You understand what I'm trying to say?
You guys are young. So do you think that your kid should be entitled to a cell phone? If you have if you had a kid right now, J Black, would you give them a cell phone at age 6 or 7?
No, I mean, because the way I was raised, I had to earn everything.
Right.
I had to do chores.
Right.
I was on punishment. They used to take my phone. I was raised differently. I was raised to, you have to earn, you have to work for what you get.
Right. But that's like with my son now. Like I was telling y'all in the previous episode, like I see people buy their kids like all this designer clothes. I go to Walmart, spend $50, I get 10 outfits. He gonna grow out of it in 3 weeks. So why am I spending $100 and some on one outfit when I can get 12 to 15 outfits for that price? Like, that don't make no sense.
That's a part of the idol worshiping thing.
It is.
I think that falls under the thing of idol
worship.
worship.
There's nothing wrong with nice things.
No, absolutely not.
But to his point, you know, sometimes parents just go overboard with it. I mean, they really do. You know what I'm saying? Especially with this whole Jordan craze. Oh they God. Bugging out with that. Like they really are tripping out with that. I'm just saying, but I'm saying they going to some other level with the kids, bro. And I'm like, okay, like this kid really understands what he got. And even if he does, it's even worse. If you got a 4-year-old and they understand the shoes they got, it's even worse. Because now he is not being a 4-year-old at all. Now he's something else. Because at 4, they just were supposed to be running and ripping.
That's true.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like they supposed to be trying to figure out how to have fun, how to interact with their friends. You know, the reading is starting to happen, all of that kind of stuff. You got a kid looking down at his shoes? I watched this little kid, man. I was in my doctor's office. I seen this little kid come in. Wasn't black and white. He wasn't black or white. I'll just say that. Mm-hmm. And he got this fancy hair and all this. He's a little black, and he constantly checking himself out like he's cute. These little black girls came around. I was so proud of these little girls. The girl and her brother, and they came around. He turns around to make sure his whole self is seen.
Oh, nice.
And he's looking up and down at them.
No.
Them kids looked at him and turned back around, started talking to their parents. He was so messed up because he couldn't grab these kids' attention. But I said, man, and he had long hair. And I mean long hair, like what I would call like a woman's hair. I said, man,
he thinks he's the ish.
You know, he was about 13. I was like, man, listen, man.
People don't understand your kids. Like even my son now, like he's still one. They pick up everything that you do, what you say,
of course,
how you move, how you eat. They pick all of it up.
I have a grandbaby. I usually say, I noticed this weekend that he gets it from me because I go, oh, I do that a lot. I didn't know I do that. I go, oh, and now he goes, oh.
Yeah, you definitely gotta be careful. We gotta be careful. Yeah. You gotta be careful because your kids watch everything you do, and if you're spending a lot of time on your phone, they're gonna start spending a lot of time on their phone. They're gonna start taking cues from the phone. Like they're not gonna do what you say as much as they're gonna do what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've definitely learned that. And if we start paying more attention to them and putting these devices down, we have to start doing that.